Not big muted anymore.
What about now?
No, we're good.
You're positive?
Positive.
Absolutely positive?
Sharp.
Today is
These
Wednesday,
things happen, you know.
August 21st, 2024. My name is Michael Palazzolo. My friends call me Zolo. You can call me Zolo as well if you'd like. And to my right, stressed out as all hell, we have the one, and I promise you we can hear us now because I can listen to it on my iPad. We have the one, we have the only, Salvatore Signorello. Is it Signorello or Signorelli?
Hello.
Uncle Sam. And on the ones and twos today, Bruce the Tugboat Venditti.
Fucking you.
Switch to the camera. Switch to you.
Oh,
Oh, my God.
it's not working.
We
See
got
what
Bruce
happens
Cam
when I
going up
make.
today, and he's faking us out, thinking that it's not working. I know it's working.
See what happens when I make changes on the dot like
Go
that?
to the Bruce Cam.
Look at its fuck stick cam. Look, he's got a big black cock right there by his mouth. Everybody see it?
Anyways,
Need a set of balls on there.
as you'll note, the chair to my right is completely empty because Sam is following in my footsteps. He's in Istanbul right now. He's in Turkey. He will be back. I think we're going to run a show later next week, and he'll be back for that. I don't know if he's going to be back next Wednesday. That being said, we're here. We're live. We're having fun. And we have a lot to talk about today. We're in the dog days of camp. The Lions technically had their first official practice today.
Dude, move that microphone or I'm going to come over here and punch you in the mouth.
We'll get to that later.
I'm not on the screen.
Move the fucking mic.
Lean to the other side of the mic.
I'm not even on right now.
Just appease him. It doesn't
Oh
matter.
my God, sweet Mother Mary and Joseph.
Irritating fucking little bitch.
You know what's irritating is you correcting where my camera goes
Hi.
because you didn't like it.
Shut up, dude.
Anyways,
Anyways,
we got a lot to
Trent
talk
Williams.
about. The first thing I would... No, hold on. Before we do Trent Williams, there's one thing I want to get to. Our social team, shout out to Brendan and Danny. You guys do a great job. Our social team keeps our TikTok updated very thoroughly. And they uploaded a video of us debating the helmet shells last week, which went pretty...
Yeah.
Was there a lot of views on that on TikTok, Bruce?
There was a decent amount. I'm
All right.
checking again right now.
That's not the point. That's not the point. Uncle Sam, you got a lot of hate.
Oh, did I?
And we want you to go through and defend yourself against the
Absolutely.
haters.
You know what?
I want
I
you to
have to
roast
defend
the haters
myself.
back because
I look at it this way.
I was appalled.
Give them my fucking address and tell them to meet me out front so I could kick their ass on the way out.
I was hoping you'd say that.
Yeah. Well, anyway, listen, if you don't like my opinion, I don't give a fuck. How about that? My opinion is this. Them wearing the little pillows on the head ain't going to fucking protect them any. Okay? It's not going to protect anybody. That's a joke. It's, you know what it's like? It's like wearing a condom when you really don't need it. That's what it's like.
Bruce, do you have the TikTok queued up by any chance?
I do.
All right. I would like you to read to Uncle Sam the comments. Make sure you call out the person's username so we can roast them back too.
Well, let's see what I got here.
Do you know how to read?
No, he doesn't. Can you put it on the screen so I can see it?
At Yazoo Matif.
I'm sorry?
Did any of these
Say
guys...
that again?
Yazoo Matif. It's his tag.
Hold this out.
This asshole's going to talk
That's his-
to me about
that's his
football
tag.
and he can't even
Did
say
it-
his fucking name?
That's his TikTok. I'm just shouting his TikTok.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, Yazoo Moffitt. Go ahead.
Questioned whether any of us played high school level football, college football.
Did you play high school football?
I played.
Yes.
I started in 3rd grade and I played until junior year of high school.
You played high school football. Sam
Yeah.
played. Did Sam play?
Sam
right?
played
Yeah.
high school.
I played high school football.
Okay.
So all
And-
four of us played high school.
Why-
I didn't
why
think
is he
you played
questioning whether
football.
I
Not
played
only
football
that,
or
but I
not?
got a concussion when I was a freshman in high school playing football. So
Here, I got a picture of me in the Silverdome. You want to see it? It's from 1982.
At Patton claims I got dumber hearing these comments.
Okay. Dumber how? Dumber how? That they don't know about football? Or
roast him back.
Oh yeah, roast him
Roast
back.
him back.
Roast them back about what? What are they questioning?
They don't like your
because of my
comments
opinion
on-
about those stupid little air things they wear in
Yes,
their head?
exactly.
That's their opinion? They think I don't know about football?
Something in some other language that I can't pronounce. 1/3 of this talk show is a guy who can't form a thought more complex than I don't like it.
That's me.
That is you.
That's them
that was
criticizing
aimed.
me?
Yeah, that was aimed at you.
Okay. Should I lay my dick on the table here and show it to everybody?
Yeah. Go put it up to the
There you
camera.
go.
Put it
The
up to the
camera's
camera.
right there.
There you
It's
go.
right there. It's right there.
Give me your camera.
It's right there.
There you go, asshole.
Why you want my?
1983 Pontiac Silverdome, asshole. 1983, dick.
Yeah, so we did play football. Just so you know.
Just so you
Okay.
know, cocksucker.
I didn't play as long as these guys. I only played 3 years, but I played football.
Anyway,
Tommy Crandall.
The pillow thing is not going to help these guys whatsoever. I don't know what it does. It's basically a layer of padding on the outside of the helmet. And to me, that's just, it's fucking useless. That's like wearing a used condom on your head, okay? It's not going to work.
I don't know how
Go ahead.
all those correlate, but
And I don't give a fuck what anybody says, okay? I forgot more about football than half these assholes know. Go ahead.
Tommy Crandall
Okay.
claims, dude sounds like a guy with CTE.
Brain damage? I probably do have brain damage, buddy. Yeah, probably do. To be honest with you, yeah, I probably fucking do. You know why? And guess what? I don't give a fuck either.
He
I'm
still
not a big
functions
pussy like you guys.
He
are.
still functions on a high, if not higher level than people who are not brain damaged.
Correct.
So you can go fuck yourself,
How about
Tommy
that?
Crandall.
I do have brain damage, asshole.
But
Go
here
ahead,
we
keep
are.
going. What else do I got?
That
Some
was all
guy
the
with a
negative-
Any
Russian
other-
name.
Yusuf fucking Maytag. Yusuf Maytag.
It's Yazoo.
Would you just enter the country here, or what is it? What is it?
He could
Do
be
you
in
even know what football is?
Could be in another country.
How old is he?
I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
Maybe he'll come in the comment section.
Whatever. Y'all can
and
just
let us know.
open up and say, go ahead.
Ordered Chaos says the guy saying it is stupid knows like 5 words. Why is he on a talk in quotes show? You better roast his ass.
I didn't
Well,
see
you
that
know,
one. Where'd
I think
get
you
that
say
one?
way more
Like
than
I
5
said again,
words.
I forgot more about football than you guys will ever know.
Oh, I skipped right
That's all
over
I
that
can say.
guy.
Yeah, the guy who's fucking brain dead.
There was
Go
a
ahead.
guy who actually agrees with you.
Is there?
Well, kind of. Floyd. Most
Okay.
of the injuries that happen in the league that actually keep people from playing have nothing to do with the helmet.
Correct. It doesn't have anything. You know what has to do with the helmet? You know what has to do with all these so-called concussions that people get and they miss fucking 2-3 weeks? You know what it's all about? It's about fucking bookies and about the line, and it's about that kind of shit. It has nothing to do with injuries. There's your FYI.
Well, if you weren't a conspiracy theorist before, you definitely are now.
Okay, we done with that bullshit?
Yeah, I think we can move on.
Okay.
I think we can move on.
Okay.
And we appreciate you guys commenting on the
Yeah.
TikTok, by the way. But
Yeah,
fuck
it's
you.
awesome. Thanks.
But also fuck you.
You're lucky on TikTok. Otherwise, I'd tell you all to go fuck yourselves on there.
We'll
Go
blow
ahead.
through this quick. We'll get through the news
egregious.
quick.
Okay.
The other day, John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan said there is no update on Trent Williams and no update on Brandon Ayuk. Both are still out of practice, but the rumors are swirling that the 49ers are close with Ayuk and that they offered a 4-year extension.
Okay.
What do you think is going to happen?
I think they sign him.
Okay. I'm changing my
I think he would have been gone already if they were going to get rid of him.
I think I'm with you. I thought he was going to be a Steeler a week ago. I don't think it's not the case
No.
anymore. I think they end up signing him. And as I always say, I've been saying it for over a year, and I think you guys agree with me. More often than not, these things get done.
Right.
These things end up happening, and I think it happens with Ayuk. And you know what? I don't even think he's that good. He's important.
He's good. He's good.
He's good, but he's
Hey,
here.
without him, that offense don't work. The way
I
it
was
does.
just gonna say. Let me take
Yeah.
that back. He's important to that offense.
Absolutely.
Things trending south with Jamar Chase and the Bengals. It's now rumored that he's unhappy and he hasn't showed up. He was holding in initially. Now he's not showing up, from what I understand.
He's still under contract this year, correct?
2 years. That's
year,
where the issue is.
He needs to fuck off and just play football.
So that's where the issue is on Ayuk and why the Bengals haven't budged is because he has 2 years remaining on his deal.
He needs to fuck off. Go play next year. You don't have nothing on the fucking table by next year. Then do what you want. The cards are in your hand.
Gun to your head. Gun
Yeah.
to your head. Do you think this lasts into the season?
Well, I mean,
I think he holds out into
I
the
think
season.
I think it lasts that long. I don't think he's going to hold out for the year. I don't think so.
But you think it's
I
going to
think
cut
he'll
into the
play
season?
under the contract.
It matters because it's a pivotal year for the Bengals, and they're in the toughest division in football.
Well, we'll see what happens with the deal. Okay, don't jump on anything yet. When he misses game 1, then I'll know. Then we'll know how serious it is.
Sticking with the wide receivers, CD and the Cowboys are close. Talks have been promising after the wild turn they took a couple weeks ago. The rumor is that they've offered $33 million and that number is too low. What do you think?
I don't think that's low. I don't think that's low end for a receiver.
I don't know if it's more than
I don't know
Tyreek.
how long. How many years is it?
I don't know the term.
What did Tyreek hit? 2 years or 3?
So Tyreek, they just restructured it to give him the most money.
Okay.
That's the problem. So I think he wants to beat
Well, Tyreek needs all that money for all the kids he's got. So.
Oh, by the way, if Kamala Harris gets your way, that you're going to get $6,000 per kid annually. That's a free $60,000 for Tyreek Hill.
I would never, ever listen to her at all. She's alphabet soup.
And $66,000 for Phillip Rivers.
You guys talk about me and make fun of me about having 3 fucking words. That's all she has too. Vote for her.
I don't think she's had any
Y'all
words.
liberal anyway. You vote for her.
I don't think she's had any words, to be honest with you.
She's alphabet soup. Go ahead.
Speaking of the Cowboys, the Forbes franchise worldwide, by the way, including soccer, the Forbes franchise evaluations came in, and the Cowboys are the first team in sports history to be valued at over $10 billion. $10.32 billion.
I don't know how.
Well, they're their own brand. They get their own cut of the TV deal. They get their own cut of the merchandise. That's why. They don't share evenly for whatever reason. I think that's why. I think Jerry Jones bought them for $50 million at the time. It was in the late 80s, right? Do you remember that? And Donald Trump was offered the opportunity to buy the teams, and he opted to buy the USFL team, the Buffalo team. And he said, whoever buys the Cowboys, it's a bad deal. They're not going to be worth much in a couple of years. And that's a soundbite that didn't age well for Donald Trump because $10 billion on it.
He's pretty much right on everything else. So
Okay.
I'm not liberal, so you can't talk to me about Donald Trump.
Do I sound liberal to you?
Yeah, you do actually.
Really?
Go ahead.
Really?
Next.
How do I give off the liberal vibe?
Just do.
Jesus Christ. You're going to get me in trouble with my family.
Okay.
Couple signings we got to talk about. Couple vets in the defensive backfield. The Vikings waited long enough and signed former All-Pro cornerback Stephen Gilmore of the Patriots. Last year, I think he played for the Cowboys. I think he had a good year for the Cowboys, too. Stephon Gilmore. Sorry, we have Stephen Gilmore here. They're brothers. I don't know the difference of the two of them. Yeah. Stephon Gilmore, it was 1 year and $10 million, and then the Justin Simmons saga finally ended with a 1 year, $8 million deal. He chose Atlanta instead of New Orleans. Let's talk about, real quick on Atlanta. Obviously, at the end of the show last week, we announced that Matthew Judon was traded there. It came out that he was being shopped around behind the scenes for a while by the Patriots, and there was a deal in place with Atlanta, but then the Patriots gave Chicago and Ryan Poles a chance to match, and they matched the deal. So the Patriots went to Judon and said, where do you want to go? And he picked Atlanta. So Atlanta's got these 2 major assets that just came in Justin Simmons and Judon. What do we think of the Atlanta Falcons defense going into the year?
They needed them. They needed them bad, especially after losing their first-round draft choice. They needed somebody there.
Braylon Trice.
Yeah.
I don't know if he was a first-rounder, but they needed DN help.
They needed DN in the draft, and the guy that they had drafted wound up probably out for the year, so now they're going to go with Judon.
I think Sam, if he were here right now, he's going to finally get his wish. I have a tough time seeing the Falcons choke that division away this year. I think the Falcons are the team to beat.
We'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens. It's fair.
Yeah.
Well, that is very fair.
Hopefully Kirk Cousins is ready to go and doesn't come out flat.
Real quick, if you're Matthew Judon, is there a reason? What do you think? Are you choosing the Bears or are you choosing the Falcons?
I would probably go to Atlanta.
Okay.
Just because the Bears, it's a cute story and everything, and we'll see what happens with that.
Back on the free agent note, the names that are still out there, and I want to hear your take on some of these names. We'll just break them down one by one. Ryan Tannehill, does he end up anywhere?
Yeah, maybe. You got to see who's going to be able to get through here without these injuries either.
I think he's a prime midseason Joe Flacco type fill-in. When things are bad, a team turns to their backup quarterback that's worse, and they need a guy that's just experienced in handing the ball off and making a big throw here and there. I think there's a slot somewhere in the league for Tannehill, especially if he hasn't retired. The next name, cornerback / kick returner / wide receiver, whatever you want to call him, Adoree Jackson, who I think was on the Giants
Corner.
before.
Yeah.
He's a corner now. Does he end up
Was a
anywhere?
corner.
I see a lot of
I
team
don't
with
know.
corner holes.
You know what? There's probably a spot for him somewhere. You just got to see what happens now. They got to get through one more week of camp, and hopefully everybody's got standing bodies after that, and see what happens.
Xavier Howard, former quarterback of the Miami Dolphins, if I remember correctly.
I'm actually kind of surprised he's still out there.
So am I. I think both of those guys end up somewhere. Adoree Jackson,
Bakhtiari, I think he's done. Didn't he retire?
he didn't retire, and people think
Oh.
he's holding out and waiting for the Jets, but I feel like it would have happened at this point. Uncle Sam was
Yeah.
talking about David Bakhtiari. Same drill. Offensive linemen go down all the time. I look
Right.
at what the Giants did last year. They were signing guys off the street. There's going to be a role for David Bakhtiari somewhere, probably after the season starts. Yannick Ngakoue, is he done, or does he sign somewhere?
I think he'll wind up signing somewhere.
Hunter
Could
Renfro?
always use a pass rusher, corners, receivers. All these guys are going to wind up somewhere.
Hunter Renfro.
If not, they take a year off.
Michael Thomas, I think he still fits here. I'm shocked it hasn't happened yet.
I think there's more to him than what anybody's talking about.
Oh, for sure. He was always a
I
cancer.
truly believe that he's not a Dan Campbell guy, and that's why he's not here.
It's the
Because
only
I think he
reason.
would have been here already.
That's the only reason why he probably hasn't been signed at this point. And we've talked about this before, too. DJ Humphries. Patrick Peterson. I think Patrick Peterson might be on the twilight there. He's towards the back end. Who else we got? Juju Smith-Schuster's going to end up somewhere, right? We agree with that? He just got released 2 weeks ago. Or a week
Well,
ago.
we'll see. They said they released him for that reason so he could catch on with somebody else. So we'll see what happens with that.
Micah Hyde. Was he in Buffalo last year? I don't know where he played last year, but safety Micah
He
Hyde.
was somewhere else last year.
Was he? He might have been. You might be right.
He's another guy that's in and out, in and out. He'll wind up somewhere.
Delvin Cook.
Another guy, who knows? I mean, at this point in his career, if he can get on somewhere, he better just get on and stay on.
Eli Apple.
Same.
All right, some releases. The Jets today released tight end C.J. Uzomah, who actually had a big role last year, so they must really like what they have at tight end right now. I think it's that guy that's
Yeah.
from Michigan. What's his name? I can't remember his name. He's from here.
Oh, there was a guy that they had from, the hell's his name? The one from Central, no?
That's who I'm talking
Yeah.
about.
Can't remember his name for the life of me right now.
His name, I know it's not coming to me either. Tyler Conklin.
Yeah, there you go. So they really don't need, I don't know. I don't know what their tight end room looks like, so.
Dolphins released running back Selvin Ahmed. That makes a lot of sense. There's
Yeah,
depth
I don't
there.
know.
And
This
I
guy's
think they,
never been able to break the lineup in 4 or 5 years since he's been there.
they like Jalen Wright too. The Bucks finally released Randy Gregory, who didn't report to camp for whatever reason. No one knows why.
Yeah,
no one's heard
he's-
from him.
Everybody should stay away from him. He's crazy.
And then Chase Claypool got injured early on in Bills camp and was injury waived. So that name,
Okay.
I feel like we're on the end of the Chase Claypool era.
Colt McCoy retired, huh?
Colt McCoy
Good for him, dude. He had a solid career.
as a backup
As a
quarterback.
backup,
Yeah, as a
yeah.
backup quarterback. And then obviously college, Colt McCoy was a Heisman runner-up, if I remember.
I was kind of surprised here that Max Duggan got released by the Chargers. I was kind of surprised by that.
Yeah, I don't know where their quarterback
I'm
depth is.
surprised.
And well, there's a reason for that. We'll get to it in the talking quarterback segment, but Justin Herbert's back, so they don't have to worry about that. He's practicing in full, and he'll be ready for Week 1.
And who's their backup? Who's backing him up?
It came down to Duggan versus this other guy. I can't remember who it was. Easton Stick maybe, and
Okay.
and they're going up with they're going out with
Yes.
Duggan. Bills extended kicker Evan McPherson, 3 years, $16.5 million. Kickers are getting big money. It's like Butker got similar money. So
Yeah.
you have a good, reliable clutch kicker. McPherson's hit some
Yeah, you
clutch
wanna hang
kicks
on
over the
to
last
him.
2 years.
Shit.
You want to do it. Matt Milano injured his bicep and is out indefinitely, and this is tough injury luck for him. He got knocked out for the year last
Here
year.
we
'cause
go.
he
2
broke his
years in a
leg.
row.
2 years in a row.
Yeah.
And I want to get your thoughts on this one. That's why I threw it in there. Nicolas Cage has been cast to play John Madden in a David O. Russell movie. David O. Russell's a fantastic director, by the way. In a David O. Russell
Is he
movie,
done?
he did Silver Linings Playbook, American Hustle. I think he did Joy. Silver Linings Playbook's basically a football movie. It's about the Eagles.
Yeah, I've seen it. It's
Um,
trash. Go ahead.
And they're doing a movie on the making of the Madden video games, and Nicolas Cage is playing John
Playing
Madden.
John Madden.
You like it or no?
Yeah, you have to gain about fucking 250 pounds to play him.
There's prosthetics and makeups
Yeah.
for that. There's fat suits for that.
He's got the anger thing down right. He should be able to handle that.
I think Nicolas Cage is actually. So, do you know Nicolas Cage's real last name by any chance?
It's Coppola.
Sure is. He's a member of the Coppola family.
Yeah.
So it's in his lineage. Let's move on to some quarterback stuff. I want to have some good, healthy debates. Bruce, I want you to chime in if you can, if you're even there, if you're not
Fucking
high.
camera's on.
It is on.
Because we'll need a third.
I don't see it.
We'll need a
Well,
third.
I'm not on the screen. Here.
You need to be on the screen. There
There he
you go.
is. Jerking his own gherkin, as Sam
Dickweed
would say.
Camera.
Let's get into some quarterback news, though, real quick. Let's start in New York. Things, I think, are going from bad to worse on your boy Daniel Jones, and I want you to defend him. I want you to defend Danny Dimes because he had a
Why?
very poor preseason outing.
So what?
They're having
Preseason.
joint practices with the Jets right now, and he was picked off by Sauce Gardner today.
No, that's not unusual. I mean, Sauce picks off everybody.
On Saturday against the Houston Texans, he was 11 for 18 with 138 yards. He had 2 interceptions and a 45.4 passer rating.
Thank God it
People
was
are
a
freaking
fucking.
out.
Thank God it was a preseason game, right?
So, do you think this carries over to the regular season?
No.
You don't. So, you think he gets his act together?
Yeah, I think so.
And why do you think that?
So just because it's all reps. And the preseason's about getting the reps. Doesn't matter what the fuck the score is on the game. None of that shit matters. It's about getting reps in.
But these reps are
Game
important
playing
for him.
reps.
They're important for him because he missed most of the year last year. So I
Well,
would argue that
you know
these
what?
reps.
He missed the end of the year last year. I mean,
Didn't he miss
I
from like
don't-
week 6 onward? Didn't he miss more than that?
I thought he
more.
missed like the last 7 games. 8 games.
Regardless.
7.
So
But-
you think Daniel Jones can get back to where he was 2 years ago?
I think so, dude. I think what's this live ball? I mean, you're just watching preseason, and a lot of these preseason games, number one, the thing that he should be worried about, I wouldn't be worried about him. I would be worried about them fucking guys in the front protecting him because they were awful. Here we go again. This guy starts out preseason, he's running for his life. I mean, at what point do you say, you know what? We got to protect this guy. Put your shirt down. Stop playing with your dick. Okay? You weirdo.
Okay, if they do protect him, though,
Yeah.
which I think they will because their offensive line is healthy. I saw a video of Pugh manhandling Quinnen Williams today in the
Okay.
local practice. What's his name? Justin Pugh, the tackle? I can't remember his name. He has pieces. He's got Jalen Hyatt last
Right.
year.
I
He's
mean-
got Malik Neighbors now.
Like I said, but they're playing these preseason games. How many people are actually playing as starters in these games? There's not many.
The Texans played their starters.
Outside
None.
Andy Reid?
No. The Texans and Giants
There's a
played
few.
their starters last week.
They did.
That's why people are panicking. Daniel Jones played in the preseason.
I mean,
games.
but it's a preseason game, dude. You're supposed to work through the bullshit.
But what about
So
the
there
joint
won't be.
practices with the Jets?
what about him, dude? Same shit. It's practice, dude.
Okay.
Practice.
He's spoken.
It's just about getting reps, dude.
We're going to revisit
You know what?
this.
We'll see what happens.
We're going to revisit this
Yeah,
often.
but I mean, you can't listen. Everything that you're seeing in the preseason, you can fucking take it to the bathroom, go to the toilet, and flush it. Okay. Outside, you trying to get positions for these guys to fill out your roster, you're not seeing anything viable, fucking from your starters. It's just bullshit. You know that. It's junk.
Moving on.
So what are you going to tell me then? The Detroit Lions, who held the fucking Kansas City offense to 6 points with Pat Mahomes in there, that was the fucking, you were seeing Pat Mahomes at
Hold
his
on.
best?
Hold on.
No, absolutely not.
But I think it's important to note on that front, and we'll get to that game later.
Yeah,
That was the
we'll get to
Lions.
that.
Well, that was the Lions' number 2 defense. That
I
was
know that. I know that.
You know,
that's
and
what I'm saying.
I actually thought their corners
struggled.
play relatively well.
Outside one big play, they struggled against the number 2s.
Yeah.
So
No, you're right. You're right.
you know, outside the big play downfield that they got is what it is, dude.
Moving on, Justin Herbert is back at practice for the Chargers, and another topic I want your opinion on because I think you go back and forth on this one.
Yeah.
Gardner Minshew was named the starter for the Las Vegas Raiders over Aiden O'Connell. Do you still prefer Aiden O'Connell, or are you okay with this decision here?
Well, I mean, Minshew's played more ball than O'Connell, so I get why they're running with him. So that I would understand. O'Connell, what did he play? 5 games last year? Last 5 games?
Give or take.
4 games,
in
5
that
games?
ballpark, yeah.
I think it was in that vicinity there. But if you only got 5 fucking starts at the end of a year that you're playing for nothing is a lot different from a guy was actually playing playoff football and playing at a high level. Say what you want to say about Minshew, he can come in and play at a decent level. He can put points up. He can do a lot of shit.
So I think this was the right decision.
Look what he did last year.
Yeah, and we're on the same page, so I'm happy you took this route because I look at it's not just last year. Gardner Minshew was obviously in a playoff push last year, and he was very effective. He was effective. They didn't make it ultimately, but he had shoes to fill, and he did a good job, and he averaged a couple touchdowns every game. And on top of that, he made another playoff push a couple years ago with the Jaguars. Yeah. He was in it, and he was playing well. And he has experience in big games in college at Washington. I think was he at Auburn too at one point, right? Or Arkansas?
I believe so.
Arkansas. He was somewhere. He bounced around. He followed Mike Leach from Mississippi State to Washington State, and he played big games for both those colleges. Was able to do it in Jacksonville.
I used to like Mike Leach.
Great coach.
I remember when he got fired. I remember when he got fired from Texas Tech.
Great coach. Yeah, he got fired for some weird reason.
He got fired because they had like one of those hot box deals like they used to have down in the South where they put prisoners in.
So Piggy
and he got popped. I think it was somebody passed out or whatever, and he got popped.
Which is weird because he's considered one of the nicest guys in the history of football. Everyone received him really well. And on top of that, look at his coaching tree.
But he's a disciplinarian too.
His coaching tree is very, very good because who came from there? Cliff Kingsbury played for him at Texas Tech and then eventually coached under him. I think Kevin Sumlin was under him at one point. He's got a broad coaching tree. And I remember when he passed away last year, Lane Kiffin, who's his rival in Mississippi, one was Mississippi, one was Mississippi State. Lane Kiffin had the nicest, incredible things to say about Mike Leach. And yeah, off on a tangent there. I'm with you on Gardner Minshew, just circling back real quick. I think Gardner Minshew is the best thing for Devontae Adams. I think that's the guy who can get him the ball the best. Yeah. And that's like if the Raiders are going to have, what were they, 7-9 last year?
They're going to have any kind of chance.
If they're going to have any chance, exactly.
They need this guy on his game.
Yeah, I think Minshew provides that, and I think it's a good decision. I still think they're going to need a quarterback down the road, whether that's Shedeur Sanders or Quinn Ewers or whoever. I don't know who it's going to be. The guy from Ole Miss, I can't remember his name right now. I think this is a good deal for Devontae Adams in particular, and I think it should lead to good things. Let's go to the rookies. Do you mind? Some news has changed. Caleb Williams and Jaden Daniels were officially named their starting quarterbacks. No shock there. The one that's not necessarily a shock, but that we saw coming because he's gotten better and better every week. He had a big preseason game last week. He was good in open practices joint practices last week. That's Bo Nix. Bo Nix was officially named the starting quarterback for the Denver Broncos today.
The only thing that's worrying me right now, their offensive line did not play well last week, and that has them in a little concern because if they can't protect this kid, they're going to get him killed. So that you might want to keep an eye out for that.
I think that the Broncos offense, if the offensive line plays well, I think it's one to watch this year.
Yeah.
Because by all means, Bo Nix is a perfect fit with Sean Payton, and things have just gone so well. Everything has paid off. And I think it's going to reflect with all the receivers, too.
You know, everybody thinks that Sean Payton's offense is this high out passing, fucking throwing the ball down all over the place downfield. That's not it. His offenses are predicated around the run game.
Yeah, it's out passes to the running backs,
a lot of people don't understand.
When I think of Sean Payton's offense, I think of Alvin Kamara and Reggie Bush. They make plays out of the backfield. You hand the ball off. You want to keep them guessing. I'm with you. It doesn't the offense doesn't necessarily have to flow through the quarterback, but it needs to have a quarterback
to flow through your running game.
But you need the quarterback to make the big plays when the running game opens up the passing game. I'm expecting bold prediction. I'm expecting a big fantasy year out of Josh Reynolds, out of Tim Patrick, and in particular out of Cortland Sutton. Keep an eye on Cortland Sutton this year because I think Bo Nix being good, that's the best quarterback that Cortland Sutton's had throw to him in a long time. And I think it could be a very, very good thing. Sticking with the rookies, your boy Michael Penix. The Falcons took a lot of heat last week because they haven't started him, or they didn't start him in the preseason game on Saturday. And there's, what's the point if he's not getting the reps? Do you agree he should be getting these preseason reps right now?
You know what? We got to see where there's big question marks right now. Cousins, we don't know about his health issues yet. They're saying he's good, he's clear. We don't know that yet. He hasn't taken a hit yet. He ain't going to take one in the preseason, so we'll see what happens.
But why wouldn't they give Michael Penix the meaningful
reps?
Idea,
dude, I'm not on their coaching staff. I'd be playing him.
I think they're
I think they're afraid to play him too much because they know he's pretty fucking good, and they don't want everybody to think that they've wasted their money by drafting him and then signing Cousins and then drafting him.
Now, it's funny you say that because there's people that are speculating the exact opposite of that, which is that they don't want to play him because they don't want people to see that they took a quarterback at 10 that's not looking very good right now.
I don't think that's it at all. I think that's an absolute joke who would even say that. We know what he is. You've seen it with your eyes. You can't. Your eyes are not lying to you.
I've seen Michael Penix make a lot of big throws, but I've also seen him, including up until last year, make a ton of mistakes. And I think the only way you mitigate the mistakes...
a ton of mistakes. I mean, he does better than he plays better than the mistakes that he makes.
I'll give you that, but he still makes mistakes. And
he took a team that probably had no business being in a national championship hunt and got him right to the game.
Hold on. He was a Heisman candidate going into the year last year.
I'm just saying.
They were a national championship candidate when he decided to come back 2 years ago.
Yeah.
I don't think you can argue that they need to give him reps and they need to give him preseason.
I don't know.
I don't understand why they say
I don't know why. Don't really hold a lot of stock in it, but
Dark Lumen in the chat wants to thank this podcast, and in particular January 6th Santa, for helping turn Michigan blue. Do you think Michigan's going to go blue in a couple months?
Sort of like that old wise tale. Little boy blue because he needed the money. Get it?
What's Dark Lumen going to do when Kamala does not win?
Whatever.
Do you want to fly out there to San Francisco to dance on his grave?
Dude, it's a shithole. Shithole. Go ahead.
I think he's just, poking the bear.
Moving forward, the last of the rookie quarterbacks, Drake May, after a very rough couple weeks, came out and lit it the fuck up in the preseason game. 2 touchdown passes. He had a 50-yard bomb, I believe, to Jalen Polk, former Michael Penix target. Right. And things are looking good to the point where Gerard Mayo is now backtracking on who the starting quarterback could be, and it's a true competition between Drake May and Jacoby Brissett. How do you think it plays out, Uncle Sam?
I think Brissett starts the year.
I think Brissett starts the year, too. It's a little too late, Yeah. It's a little too late to make that push.
As good as he looked last week, the week prior to that, he looked shitty. I said, it's preseason.
I just don't see the Patriots making enough progress this year to justify putting Drake May in. And that's why you have Jacoby Brissett. He's a perfect quarterback to mentor Drake May. So I would sit on it until you don't have to sit on it.
Yeah, till they're actually ready,
I want to have a fun little debate with you guys. 2 quarterbacks that need to have monster years this year. I want to know, who would you rather have? And who do you think is going to fare better this year? I think we're all going to be on the same page. But DeShaun Watson, things are starting to look up a little bit for him. He's got Jerry Jeudy now. He's got Amari Cooper. And they were a team that you can argue if they had DeShaun Watson, not only could they have won the playoff game that they were in, but they might have even won the division down the stretch if they had DeShaun Watson and they had him playing at the level that he's capable of playing at as well. The other quarterback is Derek Carr, who's on his last lifeline down in New Orleans and hasn't looked good through camp, but He's going to start. He's got good pass catchers. He's got Olave. He's got Alvin Kamara. What do we think? Who would you rather have? What situation is better? The one that Derek Carr is
who's
in?
backing up DeShaun Watson?
They're loaded at quarterback. It's Jameis Winston, Dorian Thompson-Robinson is still there, and they have someone else as well. There's 4 guys there.
Well, their biggest mistake was letting Joe Flacco go. And good luck with them other fucking bodies you got in that camp there. We all know what Jameis is, right? Dorian Thompson-Yates, you know what he is. He's a fucking tight end playing quarterback. I mean, it's just, I don't know.
All right, what about Derek Carr's situation in New Orleans?
Well, I mean, who's backing up Derek Carr right now?
I'll have to look.
Does anybody know? Bruce? Instead of just sitting there, do something?
No idea.
Playing with your dick?
It might be the guy that they drafted last year, the rookie. Or, you know what? It might be Spencer Rattler. Give me 1
Is it
second.
Rattler?
Might be.
Yeah, don't sleep on Rattler. You never know. Guy
They
played
have-
a lot of
don't
football.
they have that
Okay,
one kid,
so
too?
it's
Guys
some
played what, 10 years of
it's
college
some
football?
combination of Jake Haener and Spencer Rattler. They obviously drafted
Haener.
Jake Haener last year.
Yeah, the kid from Fresno.
Yeah.
He's actually pretty
who's good.
Yeah.
But I heard Spencer Rattler's been turning heads as well.
Okay.
What are your thoughts? Who's got a better situation between Derek Carr and DeShaun Watson?
Obviously, Watson's got the better situation because there ain't really nothing behind him that's going to challenge him for the starting job.
And for the record, I don't go by
Yeah.
depth. I don't
Yeah.
I don't invest in depth
Yeah.
charts. Jake Haener is second. Spencer Rattler's third.
Yeah, well, guess what? Either one of those guys, if Carr struggles, will probably outplay him for the job.
Who's more likely to bounce back between this year,
Well,
between Derek Carr and
I
Deshaun
truly think
Watson?
Watson. Because Watson's a little younger than he is. And, you know, I don't know, dude.
I think if Deshaun Watson is healthy this year, not only do I think that opens things up for the Browns, I think he could be an MVP candidate. I think he could be a dark horse MVP candidate because I was just having this conversation in another group chat the other day.
It all depends on whether Nick Chubb, where he's at on his recovery.
I don't think Nick Chubb is going to start the season. I think he's
Yeah.
going to be PUP. But Jerome Ford ran so well for them last
Yeah.
year, it didn't matter.
True.
So if they get Nick Chubb back, that's a bonus to them.
Right.
Back on Deshaun Watson really quick. The guy has won everywhere he's been. He was arguably the first person to take Bama down when he was at Clemson. They beat Bama at least once in a title game. I think they lost another one. But he was outstanding at Clemson. He was really good in Houston before all the bullshit happened and then before he held out for a full season. Then he had the shoulder injury, which didn't help, and then he got suspended for a half a year. We know the level that he can hit, and he's still young enough to hit it. It's a matter of if he's going to hit it.
Right.
On the counter, Derek Carr, I just feel like we've seen him in some really good opportunities, and he's got good pass catchers. There's guys that Rashid Shaheed and Olave, like that ain't a bad pass catching group right there.
That's better than what he had with the Raiders.
Recently, it probably is. I just don't see. I don't know if Derek Carr, like comparing the two of these guys, I don't know if Derek Carr was just ever at the level that Deshaun Watson was at.
No.
So I don't know if he can do it. Bruce, do you care to chime in or no?
I was looking something up. I was thinking of.
What could you possibly have been looking at?
Anyway.
I was thinking of Taysom Hill.
Taysom Hill's more of tight end running back.
That's all. I was just wondering.
Who would you rather be,
His
Deshaun
name.
Watson or Derek Carr? Who's in a better situation right now?
I'd have to go with.
I would say Watson.
I'd go with Derek Carr.
Why?
Only
You got to justify it.
because it's only up from where he's at, man. It's either he's out of the league or he's got to do something.
Wouldn't
So
you say
he's
that's
gotta
the same case
crawl.
for Deshaun Watson, though?
No, he's had his opportunities to come back.
Okay. I have one last quarterback debate I would like to do with you guys before we move on to the Lions. Things are looking horrible in Pittsburgh. Double egg on the face. So between the two, Russell Wilson played finally on Saturday. They played the Bills. The game ended with like a 9-3 score. The Steelers only managed 3 points with just both those two guys playing quarterback. Those are the only two people that played quarterback were Russell Wilson and Justin Fields. It is a true quarterback battle. Fields has been bad all camp. He was bad in the first preseason game. but Russ is back, and Russ was bad as well. They were sacked a combined 4 times. Russ was sacked 3 times on his own.
Yeah.
Fields had a nice sideline throw. I can't remember who it was to. It might have been to Pickens. I don't know who it went to, but there have been no highlight reel plays. Both of these guys look bad. What the hell is going to happen in Pittsburgh? What do you want to happen in Pittsburgh? What's the most likely outcome?
The best thing that could happen for him is turn around and hand the ball off. That's going to be the best thing.
Which, by the way, Jalen Warren is injured right now.
Yeah, that sucks. You got Najee Harris.
Yeah, but you need Najee Harris. You need both of those guys to bounce back, and their new offensive coordinator is Arthur Smith, who is not very good at trying to find his running backs and scheme them properly.
Well, yeah. I don't know. See what happens.
Who's going to be the quarterback? You have to pick on your head.
I think Wilson's quarterback.
Bruce?
When the season.
I'm going with Russ.
Yeah, I think Russ starts the season. I think Russ is a horrible option, but I do think he's just better than Fields. I think that you take your chances with Russ effectively.
A shitty Russell Wilson's better than Justin Fields on a good day.
I don't think there's many good days with Justin Fields because of the decision making. There's explosiveness, right? You can afford the running plays, but if you need a big throw, it's probably not Justin Fields. And the pass catchers are there. Same conversation. Pass catchers are there. You got Freiermuth. You got George Pickens. They just drafted our friend from Michigan, Roman Wilson. I don't know if he's injured for the whole year or not yet, but Dark Human in the chat is saying Fields, you fools. I disagree. I think it's going to be Russ. Fields the upside's there with Fields. He's definitely got the higher upside, but I feel like at this point we just would have seen it by now with Justin Fields, and we never did.
I think Russ starts, and how bad it goes, that'll tell you when you're going to see Fields.
Whoever starts is on a short leash, no matter what. I just don't think this gets resolved. I think Russ starts day one. I wouldn't be surprised
if both of them play.
Yeah.
From 1 week till the next.
Let's head to Detroit. We'll start with some injury updates because Dan Campbell gave some good injury updates, and then there was a big one that flowed through today. I'm not really concerned about it, but we'll get to it. Ennis Rakestraw is practicing again. He is probably going to play Saturday against the Pittsburgh Steelers. After Saturday, the Lions come back for camp is essentially over. They're going to middle of the week convene next week after all the cuts, I think Tuesday, and that's going to be the first official practice. And supposedly for that practice, they think they're going to get all of their guys back, which includes Terrion Arnold, Jahmyr Gibbs, Sam Laporta, Kevin Zeitler. They even say DJ Reader will probably be back. He's already doing one-on-one drills at the moment. So I think DJ Reader is going to be back to an extent. We don't know how that's going to go going into week 1, though, without some true live reps. Same drill on Ife Melifonwu, Malcolm Rodriguez. All these guys should be back starting next week. But there was a big one today. Because the Lions are not playing their starters on Saturday, this was their last practice before Saturday's game against the Steelers, and they did a simulated game, which included halftime and all this stuff. But they put emphasis on the starters getting meaningful reps against each other. And Penei Sewell went down with some sort of foot injury. He was pulled off to the side. They took his shoe and sock off, and they started examining him for about 10 minutes. He was wincing and grimacing and limping, but he was able to walk off on his own power, and he walked to the locker room. No one knows anything right now. They won't confirm any injury stuff until after the game on Saturday, other than the fact that he left the practice today. The teammates think that they're not concerned. Brian Branch had a quote in the Detroit Free Press stating that, "I'm not too worried. I don't think it's that bad, but we will see." Uncle Sam, do you have any fear? Of course, we all fear. It's an obvious question. We fear losing Penei Sewell. Of course. He's the best tackle in football, in my opinion.
They're not going to lose him.
Why?
What do you mean? Precautionary thing, man. They just took him back. They looked at it, took him to the locker room. They probably got some x-rays to make sure it was good. And they're not going to tell anybody for at least the next week.
So here's my thing. I just think that he's such a freak, right? We're on the same page, right?
Yeah.
He's
Listen,
such a freak.
80% Penei Sewell's still better than the rest of the guys in the league. So it doesn't fucking matter. You're going to come in this year banged up. You're going to leave banged up. It is what it is. Part of the game.
He's such a freak. And he's on this offensive line. This is their strongest room on the team. This is the most important room. It's the room that's the tightest knit, and it's their strongest unit on the team is the offensive line. And they influence each other like crazy to the point where Sewell, his mentors are Decker and Ragnow, and he watched those guys play through some crazy injury. Frank Ragnow's been playing on 9 toes for 2 years, and he played on a torn meniscus last year and came back 2 weeks later. And I just think that he's watching these guys play through much more, that he can play through much less, and he's better than them. So I'm not worried. I mean, we'll see when the injury report goes out because you hate to speculate and you never know, right? But hearing that he walked off on his own power, I think Penei Sewell can be effective so long as it's not like a completely fractured foot.
I'm not worried about him. The one I'm worried about is Gibb. That's the one I'm worried about. I'm worried about him. You know, one mouthful, it's a hamstring. The next mouthful, it's a knee. They're not really fucking being decisive on it.
It's a hamstring. It's a grade 1 hamstring
Here's
strain.
what's bad about hamstrings. A guy could have a bad hamstring, go out, have a really good game, and then miss the next 7 weeks. That's what's bad about a hamstring.
Yeah. So that's the problem with Gibbs. I'm actually not concerned about Gibbs in terms of being there week 1. In terms of being there week 1, I'm not. And on top of that, I'm not worried about they have David Montgomery, and then we'll get to Sione Vaki, who's been very good.
Listen, Montgomery's the best short yardage back in the fucking game.
Now, real quick though,
tackle runner outside Derrick Henry.
You hit the nail on the head with the hamstring, where there's slight concern with Gibbs. When it's a grade 1, so it's an easy. He could play right now if they needed him to. You hold him out for the precautions. But what happens is there's a chance that you re-aggravate it.
Correct.
As soon as you play, it would happen in the first 4 weeks coming back from the injury. If he doesn't re-aggravate it, he should be good. But these can linger all year, so it's tricky. Now I think they have depth at running back, so I'm not crazy concerned. But I understand where your concern is on the injury and him coming back. I think we're going to see him next week. I think he'll be back week 1. But it's something to keep an eye on that he could re-aggravate that hamstring injury. I am with you. Let's move on to that preseason game real quick because, I mean, it's the preseason. It's still fun to beat Kansas City, though, especially when their ones are in. But that's not why I'm watching. I'm not watching for winning or losing. We went over it last week. There are reasons that I was watching, and every reason that I was watching this game, except for maybe one of them, positives all across the board. Let's start with Jake Bates. Jake Bates missed an extra point attempt, which wasn't great, but he was 4 for 4 from field goals. 3 out of the 4 were for more than 30 yards. He hit a 55-yarder that probably would have been good from 65. And on top of that, he hit a game-winning kick to end the game with pressure on him. What are your thoughts?
He needed that. I told you last week. He's the one that needs the reps. Mm-hmm. And I was glad he didn't go for it on 4th down, and they sent this kid in there to actually get some practice kicking in a game.
Yeah.
So it was good. It was good.
I'm with you. Are there any concerns at kicker at this point?
No.
Not only do I think this is the guy, I think this could be their kicker for the next decade and a half.
It's possible.
I think you work on the
if he can get consistent, he'll be fine.
And the issue is the consistency. It's not the clutch kicks because we know he can hit the clutch kicks. He was doing it in the UFL. It's not the distance. We know he can get it. Once he gets the consistency down and hits the extra points, and that's something that you can work on too. On top of that, they're trying out long snappers as well. There's a long snapper battle going on between Scott Daly and then I can't remember, Hogan Hatton, I think is the guy, who a lot of the beat writers think that Scott Daly's going to lose his job and it's going to be Hogan Hatton. But there's also like bad snaps that you have to worry about with the specialists. But I think that the Lions have something in Jake Bates. I think he's this year's Brandon Aubrey, who finished as kicker 1 or 2 last year. I think he's going to hit some bombs. I don't want that to change how Campbell calls a game, though, because I like it when they go for it on 4th down. I don't think it's going to. But if you need a clutch kick when the game is tied and there's 3 seconds left on the clock, you have the guy, I think. And I think this could be a thing for a long time. And I'm curious to see how this plays out into the season. But I'm excited about Jake Bates. I saw exactly what I needed to see out of him in both preseason games, despite the missed extra point attempt. And he was good in camp before that, too. He's been good in camp for the last 10 days. So it's exciting. Moving forward, someone you didn't really care about who really stood out to me on Saturday was Sione Vaki, who I think is... Go ahead.
Did I what?
You were downplaying what he did against
listen,
the Giants. He
listen,
stood out to me.
He's a nice piece to have. He's very versatile. He can play safety and
especially
running
with
back.
especially with Gibbs. No,
And running back.
he's not. He's a running back. Don't even worry about him as a safety anymore. He is a running back on
He's
this
a two-way player. It's always good to have those.
Yeah, I understand the athleticism.
He'll make the team, I believe. So somebody else is going to be out. I don't know if it's Jefferson or whoever.
It'll be Jefferson or Zonovan Knight. It'll probably be both of them. They'll get practice squatted.
But this kid is very unique. He has a real skill set.
Did you happen to see what he did in the 2-minute drill to end the first half?
Yes.
He caught 3. They were dump offs, of course.
Right.
So it's cheating. But the yards after the dump offs were incredible to me.
Yeah,
and
it's
the way
kind of
he
cool
moved.
because they got the receivers drew everybody deep, and
Yeah.
he was just dumping it off to him, letting him.
But him
make
as a
moves.
pass catcher,
Yeah.
this is something I can envision this being a thing. I can envision this being a problem. You put him out in the backfield, and all of a sudden he lines up out wide. I can very much envision this being a thing because they're higher on him as a pass catcher at the moment than they are in between the tackles. So if in a hypothetical Gibbs is down and Gibbs is out for a little bit, I feel comfortable knowing that Sione Vaki is a great complement to David Montgomery. Yeah. And I love what I've seen from Vaki, and I want to see more. I want to find ways to scheme him open. If he's the guy returning kicks, I think that could be a really good thing. I am excited to see more Sione Vaki. Going forward, wide receiver 3, it's still kind of up in the air. Mainly because they need the X. They still need that X guy. They tried to... Caden Davis is probably the true X that stood out the most. He caught a touchdown pass. They tried to scheme some stuff for Donovan Peoples-Jones. It didn't really work out, and they did the same for Doris Fountain, who I think he's out of the race now. Peoples-Jones might be kept by default because of his size. I think they should look elsewhere for a receiver instead of him.
Isaiah Williams will make the team.
Yeah, I agree. I was saving him. I don't think he's the X. I don't think
he's
the X
not
guy.
an X, but I see him
Yeah.
making the team just because he can return kicks too. And,
He looked good returning kicks too. Did he
receiver,
not? Did you see him return the kicks?
He was decent. He's very decent. What I like is he can move without the ball after he catches the ball. He's really hard to bring down. He's a little shifty dude.
Mm-hmm.
So those are the kind of players you want. And if you're going to have, hopefully it doesn't happen, but if St. Brown misses a game or two, you can plug this guy into his spot and you're not losing as much.
But we're in agreement that they still need an X.
I don't think the Caden Davis guy is any good, personally.
I don't either.
I thought that was a lucky play. If the corner would have turned around, it would have been a pick the other way. But that's just
They don't need him to be really good though. They need him to jump up and catch a
get
ball on third down. But I'm with you. I don't
I would
think
rather throw
Caden Davis,
Laporta than him.
I think whoever it is not on the team. The X is not. He's not on the roster.
If they even get one.
If they get one, yeah.
I don't think they're going to.
I think they have to.
I don't think they're going to.
I think
I think you're looking at the receiver room right now.
A guy that stood out to everyone. Thank fucking God, Hendon Hooker. Absolutely loved it. He looked poised. It looked like that Ben Johnson and Mark Brunell told him, stop running for these plays, make a throw, make a dump off, look at your check downs. I love what I saw from Hendon Hooker. I mean, he literally led a 2-minute drill to win the game. He looked good the entire second half. Dan Campbell has said that the plan right now, if all goes according to
I'm
plan...
going to tell you this much. I didn't think that
Sudfeld?
I didn't think Sudfeld looked bad.
He looked better.
I thought he looked. This is the best I've ever seen him look.
Sudfeld looked better than he did against the Giants.
Yeah.
And it's still a true battle at the moment. I think they're going to end up keeping 3 quarterbacks just
I
as a
think
safety
they're
valve.
keeping Hooker.
Oh, Hooker's on the main roster no matter
Hooker
what.
will be the guy. The thing that scares me is he has no playing experience, and that fucking scares me. If he has to come in, is he going to shit himself, or is he going to really be able to take the reins and control the team? I mean, that's the only thing you got to worry about.
So the goal for Saturday, Dan Campbell has said, is to start Hooker. If all goes according to plan, it's going to go by install. So Hooker's going to start the game against the Steelers. Okay. I think if Hooker starts, and I think if he grabs the game by the balls and looks just as good as he did last week, if not better, Not only is he your number 2, but I think that eliminates Sudfeld's roster spot. I think Sudfeld's only in the
Well, he might go to the practice squad.
Well, yeah, they would exactly. They would clear him. They'd waive him and put him on the practice squad. I think right now Sudfeld is safe just as a safety valve on Hooker, but I think Hooker's firmly in the driver's seat for QB2 right now. And I'm excited to see. I'm excited to
Dan
watch.
Campbell said it's not a question that he's going to carry 3 guys too.
Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked.
I actually think that would be a smart thing, especially for this year.
Today, right now, I think they're carrying 3 guys. I just think that conversation can change based on what they decide to do with the roster. Lastly, we talked about it earlier, that the backup cornerbacks actually played really well against Mahomes, which I think is saying a lot. But the guys that you need to play well, because think about it, every corner is injured right now. Right. Carlton Davis didn't play. He's injured. Rakestraw didn't play. He's injured. Terrion Arnold didn't play. He's injured. So you got Khalil Dorsey, you got Kendall Vildor, and then Amik Robinson. Amik Robinson, he had a miscommunication. He got burned by Xavier Worthy on that one touchdown. I think he looked bad there. Yeah, but he was
solid the rest of the game.
Solid the rest. But the other 2 were really solid even against Mahomes' best receivers.
Vildor looks solid, believe it or not.
Vildor is going to make the
Didn't
team
have
again.
Any passes bounce off his head, but
it's helpful.
Looked pretty solid.
But I liked what I saw from the second defense. I mean, I texted you. Matthew Betts had a sack.
Yeah.
And on top of that, it looks like this Isaac Okwu is going to make the team. I think he's going to make the team in that little that positionless hybrid DN, the same role as James Houston. That hybrid DN linebacker role. They're really high on him. He had another sack. What are your thoughts? Do you have any thoughts on the way things are trending defensively?
I mean, I still think that their linebacker core is dog shit. That's just my opinion. But I, as long as they can get pressure, they should be fine. If they can get pressure out of all these guys that they're praising right now, they'll be fine. That'll help the back end.
The ones versus one, the full blown scrimmage they had today. They said the unit that even before Sewell went down, the unit that stood out the most on the team was the defensive line. It was Hutchinson and McNeil and Onwuzurike and then even Davenport. Those guys, they said, stood out a lot today.
You're going to notice a difference with Davenport. He's a big, long dude, power rusher. You know, I don't know how big he is. 6'5", he's probably about 290, close to 300 pounds, and he can move for a guy his size. He's got real good length. He's got Hutchinson length on a 300-pound frame. So hopefully they get that push. That'll be nice. And then Onwuzurike in the middle with McNeil, that'll open him up because you actually have a threat next to him. It'll be nice on third downs. Put Reeder in there. He's going to be your run stuffer for the first 2 plays, and then you swap them out.
So one of the biggest hires this offseason was that guy they got from Tennessee. Give me 1 second. I'm pulling up
their
his
DN
name.
coach, D-line coach?
Yeah. Terrell Williams.
Yeah.
The defensive run game coordinator and the defensive line coach. And they say, I mean, he's considered a future head coaching candidate, and it was considered one of the biggest offseason hires for any staff.
Okay.
And apparently you can see the improvements on the D-line up close, and it's because of him. And it's just, can you imagine if they have if the D-line is formidable, if the guys playing around Hutchinson are
Listen,
formidable?
if they can get into the top 20 in defense, and with they're going to have a top 5 offense, you have a real good chance going real deep into the playoffs if you can get that defense to play top 20.
I'm with you.
Where were they last year?
I think they were better
30?
than top 20. No, they were better than 30.
Yeah.
2023 total defense. That doesn't mean they didn't need to improve, because of course
absolutely, man. Their secondary was getting fucking torched still.
You want total defense?
Yeah. 28.
They finished last year in total defense 23.
23. They can get up into the teens, 20 and above. That's fine.
I think to win
They'll
a
be
Super
better.
Bowl, you need to even be better than that. You need to be in the top half of the league.
Listen, they just need to be, you know what they need to be in? Top 10 in fucking quarterback sacks. That's what you need to be in. You can hit the top 10 in sacks. None of that other shit fucking matters. You know what I mean?
You heard it here first. None
That's
of that
it.
other shit fucking
I mean,
matters.
and I'm not talking about fucking 10 sacks from one guy and then fucking 2 here, 3 there. You need 2 guys with double-digit fucking sacks.
They need someone to be
On each
consistent
side.
opposite Hutchinson.
Correct.
They need the
need
whoever's
that
on the other side to be good.
And Hutchinson needs to step up his game this year. Hutchinson needs to be a fucking 18 fucking sack guy. He can get in there and get 18 fucking grabs this year. And you know what? This is going to be easier for him. You actually have people that they have to fucking account for. It's going to open his game up. He's got to get home. There's no more fucking excuses. He has to get home. It's not about pressures. It's about sacks. It's about them numbers, about that sack number. He can get in there and get 15 to 16, 18 sacks this year. All these other guys are going to get better from that. All the other guys that he's playing with are going to get better. You can get 10 sacks out of Lee McNeil. That would be awesome.
Well,
I'm telling you.
do D tackles end up with 10 sacks?
Hey, they can get 50 sacks, and that front defensive line, they'll go to a Super Bowl if they can get 50 sacks as a team.
You heard it here first. We're about that action, boss. Bruce, you got anything to add?
Nope. All set over here, man.
You nothing to add. You have no
Not
comments
a
on today's show.
single-
Yeah, no comments there. What do you think of the assessment
The assessment of which?
of what we're talking about?
Well, you said the whole episode, so what, you want to pinpoint?
Anything.
We just
Is-
talked about.
Is there
dumbass.
anything? Do you have any critiques for us? Do you have any things you want to add? Do you listen to us even?
I do.
Really?
I take in all the information, I shove it deep down inside, and I save it for fantasy football.
Deep down inside, not
Anyway.
just down inside. Deep down inside.
That's also why I came in third last year. When Sam openly talks about his game plan, when he talks about fantasy football, it's pretty easy.
Mine?
No, Sammy.
Oh. Anyhow,
What about you, Uncle Sam? What's going on? Do you have any plans for the weekend? You have any plans for the rest of the week? How's your week been?
it's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What were you guys doing today when he texted me earlier? What were you guys up to? What location were you at?
Out of drive. East side.
He
What about
put-
you,
He was
Bruce?
putting together some
I'm making extension cords.
extension
The
cords.
dock guys.
Are you going to the game Saturday, Bruce?
Thinking about it.
I am not.
You're not?
Yeah, I've never had this happen before. I usually list my preseason tickets like the week of because I forget there's a game. So I did that, and I noticed that they were selling. So I put mine at kind of a decent price, and they sold. And I sold my preseason tickets and my parking pass. And
Wow.
I've never had I think that building's going to be pretty full on Saturday, to be honest with you. I think a lot of people are going to
Oh,
be
I
down there.
bet for sure.
Because
Absolutely.
for a lot of people, it's their best opportunity to see the team for a reasonable price.
Right.
And it's on a Saturday afternoon in the summer, so you kind of
Yeah.
can't beat that.
Right.
And I think, therefore, there's going to be, just based on how quick my
So you're
tickets
not going.
sold. I have a wedding, and I was
Oh,
I
yeah.
was considering going. I was considering
No,
going
if you
before
got
the
a
wedding.
You got to go to the wedding.
Well, no, I wouldn't be missing the wedding, but I just don't want to be doing too much
I'd
that
miss
day.
the wedding just to see the Lions.
No, I'm excited to watch. I'm excited to see Hooker. I'm excited to see all the guys. Like, I'd like to see Jake Bates kick a little more. I'm excited to see how this wide receiver 3 thing shakes out.
I wouldn't worry about this wide receiver thing. I think it's all bullshit.
I think they need an X, though. I do
the
think they
only-
need an X.
The only reason why they would need to bring somebody in is somebody went down. I don't think they're going to bring anybody in. I think they're going to run with what they got. Khalif Raymond is more than good enough to be a
He is wide receiver 3.
3 or 4. If you want
Khalif
that.
Raymond is wide receiver 3.
Your wide
He's
receiver
a dog, too.
is a fucking tight end.
Yeah, agreed. Agreed there.
Jameis Williams is your wide receiver 3. Khalif Raymond is your wide receiver 4. So all that other stuff is bullshit.
I still think you need a guy that lines up on the outside that draws in single coverage because someone's got to cover Laporta and Williams and St. Brown.
Jameis Williams is going to be that guy on the outside that everybody's going to have to fucking deal with.
But I want Josh Reynolds. I want automatic guy that can jump up and catch the
Reynolds
ball.
wasn't that fucking good.
He didn't have to be that good.
Yeah.
He had to be what they needed, who was a safety valve on certain
think
plays.
Raymond is underrated. I really do.
He is. I'm not
think
denying
he's a little
that.
better than what people think.
But they need a guy they can throw the ball up to. They don't have that. That's why the Niners are adamant to get this with Ayuk. They have that in Ayuk. He's the big guy that they could throw the ball up to and he could grab it.
Ayuk's 6'2", dude. He's not that fucking big.
That's the X though. Is 6'2".
Well, you got a
6'2", 6'3", 6'4".
than that. They got a tight end.
I know, but that's still a tight end, and it's not going to come easy for Laporta this year after the year he had.
Laporta runs like a fucking receiver.
It's not going to come easy for him this year. It's not. People know who he is now. He's got a target on his back, and I
knew who he was last year, and they still couldn't do anything with him.
Yeah.
If anything, I think he'll be better this year.
We'll see.
Than he was last year.
I hope he's better. I hope so, but I still think they need that guy. I think they need the guy they can throw the ball to.
The main thing is this. If they can come out and they can run the football the way they did last year. The last game of last year, the first half was picture perfect, 9 yards per carry against a top 3 defense. And you know, come out, establish that run, establish your dominance, and then don't stop it. Don't go into the half and then come out and say, well, we forgot what got us here. Don't do that this year. Run the fucking football. Run it down their throats. David Montgomery should get fucking 30 carries a game.
You got any plans this weekend?
No, I'll watch the football game.
Well,
Watch the football game and then text Bruce a middle finger, and then that's about it.
You've never texted me.
Yeah. You never know. You might get a picture.
we appreciate you guys for listening.
Right online.
Appreciate you guys for tuning in. Thank you. I see all of you in the chat. Please send this to your friends. Like and subscribe. Ring the bell on YouTube. Follow us. You can follow us on all the social platforms at Tipballs on X.com, at Tipballs on Instagram. I think we're at Tipballs on TikTok as well. We're all over the place. You can go to tipballs.com for some blogs. We're going to start cranking out more blogs once the season starts. I got some in the hopper right now that I'm going to bring out in September. But we'd love to have you. Come chat with us. Ask us questions. I know you have fantasy questions. You all have drafts coming up. Ask us the questions, please. We're looking forward to it. Thank you for listening. We will see you at the same time next week. I don't think Sam will be back, but we're going to run it without him no matter what. God bless.
Adiós, vaya con Dios.